Today, we're taking questions. Yep, live questions from our friends in the accounting community.
Or people we thought were our friends.
I guess we'll find out if they really are our friends, because this could go horribly wrong. We may get canceled. This may be the last drink while you think of all time. This is supposed to be one of those AMA, ask me everything or anything, not everything, please, or anything type of event. We'll see how this goes. All of this here today on Drink While You Think, a happy hour podcast. We've got even more happy because we had a bunch of friends here where a couple of knuckleheads actually go out and talk about all the crazy ways things we're doing in our firm, this being no exception to that at all. I am your host, Kenji. There's my co-host and buddy over there, Matthew, who had no idea we were doing this until about 2 minutes ago. And Matthew normally does the sponsors, but I'll do the sponsors this week. Is that cool with you, Matthew?
That's cool, man. Thanks.
I'll do my best to do the sponsor voice. And because it's an episode with friends, we're going to shout out a few friends this week who are sponsoring. Our friend Jeff Rudner at ProSeer. They are helping entrepreneurs optimize performance through tech-forward accounting. Jeff, thanks, buddy. I helped out Jeff with some stuff. We're talking about the Philippines, and Jeff sent us some great beer from Florida. We appreciate you, my man. And then another friend who I still call her a friend, even though she hates something dear to my heart. And dear to my heart is Buc-ee's. Yes, Buc-ee's. And Nicole Davis cannot stand Buc-ee's, but I still love Nicole Davis. Nicole Davis also sent us some beer. Nicole runs a great firm, Butler Davis. She has a bunch of other things going on, one of them being a new community that she's helping support other accountants in. So check out what's happening with Nicole Davis and be sure to send her some Buc-ee's love. Now, Matthew, let's get into, oh my gosh, this is going to be the most ridiculous episode of Drink While You Think of all time.
Well, hopefully our friends bought some beer that they're drinking, because they're in the chat right now, all already having fun and like.
Well, let's get into the beer first. Let's try to lighten things
up.
Well,
I took Nicole's beer because I just was proving the point that I like JW better because she likes you better. She sent us an IPA game night. The hazy IPA, and if she ever gives me grief about always saying I like JW better, this is why, because I know she likes you better. She sent me a hazy, but this one's from Second Shelf, so very excited.
Not shelf. That's okay. Good Atlanta brewery. Nice. Okay.
Well, they don't have a porter, so I don't know the name, so it's
okay. Take a hit of that. Tell me how it is. Well, I introduce mine. I got the Cosmic Crown. This is a Belgian style strong golden ale coming in, I believe, at like a 9%er. Woo, getting after it. Jeff, thanks for this one. This is from Cigar City out of Tampa. Actually, one of my favorite breweries, probably my favorite brewery in Tampa. Okay, Matthew, cheers to you, and cheers to all of our friends who submitted questions, who are on and giving questions. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, if you're in the chat, put what beer you're drinking, because I'm just
curious. Fire the questions our way, but I've got a list of questions. I'll bounce back and forth between the submitted questions and a list of questions. The first question, let's just get it right out of the gate. This is the very first question submitted. Matthew, why did you spend time in a hot tub with Steven Byler in Vegas instead of hanging out with all the rest of us at the Ignition pre-con party?
Why did I do that? Well, I would think that most people would think that was rational. Like, you pick the best company possible, right, to hang out with. And I thought Steven Byler, by far and away, for those who don't know, Steven Byler is one of the most quality human beings in the community and on the planet. So when we got some one-on-one time, there was no breaking me away from that. We were gonna hunker down and catch up, and I have no regrets. I'm sure the Ignition party was great, and I missed all of you guys, but I got to catch up with you guys later. So I've been focusing, just for the record, at conferences on doing less connections, so fewer people, more concentrated quality time with fewer people. So that's been my goal.
Sounds very intentional of you. Wow. I chose, however, as I do, the big party with Dan So I chose who I wanted to hang with. So you missed out. Too bad. It was a good time at the ignition party. But again, your choice of location, I mean, the ignition party at the cool bar, and across the street there was pretty sweet. And you chose a hot tub. That's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question for you, Matthew. And I see actually one of the people who submitted this question. I'm supposed to confirm with you if you have ever Barbie-ized yourself.
Barbie-ized?
Yeah.
Barbie-ized. Did anybody do the Barbie thing for me? The AI Barbie one where it's like turn me into a Ken?
I mean,
is that the question?
I don't. Well,
I don't think you did that. I think you did that for everybody else. I don't think you did that for me. So that would be but I did wear pink to the Barbie movie, and I believe I have had a picture taken in a Barbie box before.
But you did, and I have a picture of it. However, because we're using the webinar version, oh, there it is. I can share it. Here we go. Check it out.
So I don't think you did that. Yeah, there you go.
There he is. There he is.
But that's the real
Kelly
me. That's
Parks.
not the AR. That's not the AI version of me.
That's the real version. That's the real thing.
I believe this was in the walkway between the Cosmo and the Aria for one of the conferences one year. Is that where this is?
Dude, I don't know where it is, but it's embarrassing. You embarrass me.
Embarrassing? I have a daughter. It is not embarrassing.
You've never been embarrassed by anything in your life, let alone being Barbie-ized. There you go, Kelly Parks. That was for you, KP. Yes, he has been, and he's proud that he's been Barbie-ized. He does not have the digital version, though. I'll have to make one for him. I'm the only person authorized to make digital representatives of Barbie out of all of my accounting friends. All right, Matthew, you ready for another question?
I'm ready. Let's go, man.
Okay. There are some legitimate questions in here. And here's one.
We'll get to those later.
I don't know. I'm going to throw them in here. Here's one. What do you think is the secret sauce that firms need to have to be successful over the next 10 years?
Oh, it's the same thing from the last 10 years. They got to figure out unique ways to create alignment, either through compensation or other ways with their employees, ideally with their clients too, but like more alignment, particularly with compensation and their goals and the company goals.
Interesting. So you focused on, I heard you say clients, but you mentioned employees. Huh?
Employees is number one. If you can do it with clients, then you get this, then you like hit the holy grail. Like you have to have the employees or you're dead, right? You have to have alignment with employees. And if you can find that mix where you can do the company, employees, and clients where you have alignment in most of the things you do, that's the secret thing.
That's the secret holy grail right there.
If anybody figures it out, let me know.
It's people. It is people. I may say alignment, but it is people and retention of people. You get that good alignment, I think, for sure. Will Lopez thinks that daily jacuzzi Michael Lee pictures is the secret sauce.
He can't even stick around for like 5 minutes on a live broadcast. So
of course he can. He's doing a great job right now. We'll pepper.
He's already dropped off. So
he dropped off. Oh, he has dropped off. Okay, too bad. He's dropped off. Those have been good. Okay, and by the way, any guesses on who asked that last question?
No.
Who would ask like a thoughtful, intentional question like that?
Like, let's say, not Dan, not Kelly. Miggy has his moments, but I'm gonna go with Roman on this. If it's the people,
bingo, it was Roman. It was a Roman question. I got one more for Roman for me too.
Okay.
I don't know if you wanted me to shout them out, but I thought they were good questions. Okay, what is your prediction of the biggest breakthrough for the accounting CAS space in 2024? Roman may or may not know this, but you and I like to do an episode usually each year about predictions for the coming year. So we're getting a little jump on it here. What prediction do you have? Biggest breakthrough in accounting CAS for next year?
So I'll flip it on you and ask you this question. What was the biggest breakthrough you'd say for 2023?
2023 for the profession or for us or what's
for the CAS? Same category, same question for this year. What would you call the biggest breakthrough?
I'd say one of the biggest breakthroughs was that people finally started talking about the fact that nobody knew what CAS was, or no one had defined CAS properly. I think people started kind of admitting in 2023, they're like, the hell does CAS even mean? I've heard CAS 2.0. So maybe that was a step forward, and at least people, what has been used, that nomenclature of like, oh, everyone's got to move into CAS. Finally, in 2023, people were like, I don't even know what CAS means. Like, what does that actually mean? That may be one breakthrough. I don't know if that's probably not a true breakthrough.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing like the biggest impact from a technology company is I'm expecting the bill pay from Intuit to have wide-reaching effects on how the cost, like how they charge,
for
how
24.
Bill.com, Intuit, Ramp, and all the like Divvy would like just pick a bill pay provider. I think I would expect based on momentum, that's going to be the biggest change that we're gonna have to do if you have pricing baked into your, like technology pricing baked into your costs. That's the one I think that's the easiest one to pick.
Technology wise,
AI is hard. Like I don't think
I think it's got a little bit longer timeline.
I don't think that's a 2020.
I think in 24, I think we're going to see more of the M&A transactions pick up again back in the space. I think those kind of got put on ice in 23 with the interest rate hikes, and I think rates are going to come down. I think the Fed's going to move rates down. So I think I think there's some. I think that there was momentum building for more of that. I feel like it's going to pick back up again in 24. I wanted to take a non-tech side, right, to where we'll see.
Consolidation.
I think more consolidation. I think it's going to pick up in 24. 23 was supposed to be much bigger than it was, and it just slowed because of everyone freaking out about the rate. So those are a couple ones there. Good questions from Roman, of course. Let's get back into some of the fun questions here too. Oh gosh, there's so many good ones to pick from. Let's go with this one. Matthew, how many quinceañeras have you been a Chambelan in? Did I say that right?
That's coming from Miggy. There's one. So like that's an honor, first of all. That's like saying how many weddings have you been in? Like where you were the groom a lot of times. But I've been in one.
First of all, pronounce that. What's it called?
Chamberlain. Like the
Chambelan.
So or that's how I've always said it. I've been once, and then my nephew in my family has been it once. So that's the only people in my family that have had that honor. So for those of you that didn't grow up on the border or close with the Mexican culture, it's a kind of for the 15th birthday of the females. They get to invite somebody to be their escort, and that's the name of the escort. You do this whole thing. It was like I did like 3 months, like with 12 people, a full wedding party on each side, like 12 men, 12 women. Well, we were kids at the time, but 3 months of practicing like for the dances and the things.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not joking. And then there was like the quinceañera. It was like it's a bigger deal.
People don't do that for their weddings. Like your weddings, you create your wedding party. It's usually your drunk idiot friends you grew up with, and they just all show up.
This is a bigger deal.
Pass out up on the.
In El Paso, Texas, quinceañeras were bigger deals than weddings. Like from a preparation perspective and a practice, and
if like it was a thing. My groomsmen to practice for 3 months, no way.
When you're 15, you can tell people to do stuff like that.
So also, by the way, I mean, I hope this is the right way to say it, but like, is it unusual that a gringo, like, is that, or not necessarily? I mean, it's just living in a border town. You see, have friends who are of Mexican descent, or is that more common there to have a basic white dude like you who's also in the quinceañera?
So I didn't realize I was white until college. Okay, so like when you grow up as a minority in the United States as a white guy, like it's a different way to grow up a little bit. I feel like so like I think it's probably people would say it's more rare, but that's just because like El Paso's 20% white, 80% Hispanic. Like yeah, it's rarer because there's less of us. So, I mean, just statistically, 80% of the time, you're going to be Hispanic. So,
okay, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you for that, Matthew. Another question that came in to me is, and this hurts me a little bit. Kenji, are you still brewing beer?
I know he's not, so it's gonna hurt
Not
him.
actively, but you know what? Here's the deal. I'm we had to go and like we're getting ready to move, and so we have to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff we don't want to take with us. I'm taking all the beer stuff with me. So I think that means I'm either going to just shuttle it and stick it in the basement of the new place, or something deep in me is telling me maybe to start brewing again. So we'll see about that. We'll get some more brewing going. I apologize for no beers brewed here in 2023. Oh, let's go with the live question here. I'm nervous about taking a live one. For both of you, this is coming in from Alex. By the way, Matthew, I'd like you to this next
Miles.
Can you say it? Say it again.
Miles.
It's Miles. Is that right? Alex Miles?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not Mills?
I'm sure.
Okay. Let's go to this question here. Alex Mills. Good old Alex Miles. Is asking, what can tech companies in this industry do a better job of to uplift and propel their accounting partners and their firms forward? Woo.
That's a big one. I think
sorry about the dog barking there.
They could stop window dressing like their referral programs and like take their like I've always wanted like them to actually do either referral programs or do more education for accountants using their people that are real, like the people that actually do it. I'll give you an example. Like when we are on some of the advisory councils, like I think the big miss that they have is like I would love to talk to the CMO about like my business. Like you have the access, you have the people. I'm there at the advisory council. Why can't like you get a 20 minutes with the chief marketing officer and them talk to you about pay-per-click or marketing or like what they would do in the space, or there are things that they see that people are doing. So I think that's the biggest miss that I see on like the advisory boards. And then the biggest miss like broadly is like funneling clients to people that believe in their products, right?
Yeah,
And the ecosystem.
I agree with that. Yeah, I'll use, I guess, just going from experience too. One of our keynote speakers from this year at AcuityCon, the amazing and ever wonderful Jacqueline Anku, right? I think she came and gave one of the best keynotes we ever had and talked about building community. And she's been an expert in that. She's been an expert in building community, and she came and talked to our about building community. And I guess this feeds a little bit into your point about the CMO piece. Most firms can't have someone who focuses on education and community like a Jacqueline. But I think all of us who've been in, whether it's in GPAC with her, she's been at Zero and Gusto and at Intuit now. She's done a great job of creating educational experiences and kind of community-based programs, which are the feedback we get from our team is like, that was amazing, right? I felt part of a community. I got educated on something. And so I do agree that spending time around people like that, and maybe it's marketing, maybe it's a sales team member, having access to resources there. Also, I tell you one that's been valuable too that makes me think of this is also with Gusto in thinking about their Gustonomics team, right?
Oh, yeah.
Giving us access to things like that where Liz
was like just talking about like the macroeconomic situation. Like we don't have people on our staff thinking about that. Like that's stuff that's like huge value add, right?
Huge value add. So those parts of the programs,
like using your teammates that are the best people that we can't afford because most of us
no way a small accounting firms can ever afford those. So yeah, that's a great question, Alex. But
your talent at the tech companies, like just internally, is stuff that we generally can't afford to have in house. Yeah. So getting us exposure to that is my number one.
Good question. All right, back to some of the pre-submitted ones. Let's see. Here's one. Matthew, who is your favorite CEO in the accounting industry right now?
My favorite CEO in the accounting industry.
There's actually sorry, I missed the question. That's not entirely correct.
Okay.
It actually read, who is your favorite CEO in the accounting industry, and why is his name Michael Lee? I can't imagine who asked that one.
Okay. Who is my favorite? So that's a hard question to answer because I think of it as like people doing things better than us. And there's lots of
say
people.
Your business partner, me, I'm gonna cry. I'm kidding. Please don't say me. Actually, say me. Please say me. Don't say me. I'm kidding.
Oh, I thought you were excluded. I thought that was a
Yes,
just
exclude me just so my feelings don't get hurt, and you can tell me
so.
who you have a real
Of course
crush
you're
on
my
versus
of
me.
course you're my favorite, Kenji. Why don't you answer this question? Who's your favorite CEO?
It was directed toward you, but I'll answer it too.
Well, you've directed every question to me. That's great. So so who is my favorite CEO?
I guess with the title of CEO. How many? I mean, it. When you're picking amongst your friends, this is one of those traps. Like, are you going to pick amongst your friends, or do you pick up at like the big company kind of CEOs?
I don't know. Who are the big company ones that you think of?
Oh, Michael Lee's here now. Oh gosh, the big company ones I think of. There've been a few. I'll tell you one that is no longer in our industry. I thought was amazing was Lexi Reese. She was COO at Gusto.
Oh yeah.
I just thought she was.
She just shelved her campaign for Senate, unfortunately.
I know it. She shelved it.
Yeah, she just announced today
that she's amazing. She was just amazing. Like Lexi.
Oh, I've got a good answer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this from the people that I don't know, who I would like to know better.
Yeah.
Like, who are the people currently on my radar that I think a lot of that I need to know better? That way I don't have to pick from the list on the people that are logged in. So Jody Grundon, who's not a CEO right now, but used to be CEO at Summit.
Jody's up there. Yeah.
So Jody is somebody that I would like to get to know better and have been trying to make efforts to get to know better because I think he has a lot to offer based on kind of just selling his company and also some of the things he's been able to do in the FP&A space. So that would be
There's my daughter. We're on a live podcast right now, daughter of mine.
Hey Stella, welcome back from New Zealand.
Welcome back from New Zealand.
So Stella just came back. She's doing a gap year program in New Zealand and she just got back this week. So it's probably stuff Kenji should say, right? So that I would go with Jody right now. That's how I'd answer that thing. So
Jody.
How would you answer that question then?
How would I answer that question right now as CEO? Jeez, this is gonna get me in trouble. I'll go with, let's see, who's in this room now. Actually, I probably should. What if I were to nail down in this room right now? No, there's only, I see 4, 5 CEOs in this room. No way, I'm gonna get murdered by one of them if I say it. Can I just vote for me? I'm the greatest CEO of all time.
Okay, you're the greatest. Okay, awesome.
I've been huge. I've been
my not Michael Lee is my other vote. Okay, go ahead. What's the next question?
The next question is also from Michael Lee.
You shouldn't say that because then I won't take it as serious. But go ahead.
Oh no, these are Michael asks only very, very serious questions. He wants to know how many drinks will it take you to get to come to the Omnia nightclub with us this Tuesday at while we're in Las Vegas. This is a late night nightclub. It's very loud. It's music that you will absolutely hate.
Okay, it's 5 10%ers or 9 6%ers.
5 10% beers. Okay,
or 9 6%ers. That is the official answer.
Michael, you got that? Please write that down. That's what it's going to take to get Matthew there. at Omnia on done on Tuesday night. I don't think Omni even serves beer. It's only bottle service.
Okay.
That's all we got. That's all we got, Matthew. That's all we got there. All right, let's jump around a little bit more here. Let's see what else we got for you. Here's another one that was submitted earlier. Where did the name Acuity come from?
I don't know.
There's been some confusion on this. We get this confusion a lot, don't we, Matthew? Of people who go.
I don't know the answer to this question.
Well, I do.
I probably heard the story, but you and Stuart
is more exciting. My old business, I stole the name. Yeah,
I assume it has something to do with being first in the phone book because it's an A.
No, it wasn't that. Otherwise, it would be like, triple A Acuity phone book. Am I that old? Yes, I probably am that old. I would have done something like that. No, it was my old business partner, and it was named Stuart Brooks. He actually started Acuity like 9 months before I joined, and it was called Brook Vision. Because his name was Stuart Brooks. Acuity's original name was Brook Vision. And when I joined him, I'm like, dude, we're not having something that's your last name. And he agreed to. He was like, I'm not doing that. He found the name Acuity. And I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And and like Michael mentioned, it sounds like we're saying cutie, like we're Acuity. Who doesn't want to be a cutie? But yeah, it's just, cute. Came up. That's how we found it. Always liked it from there. And ever since, now people occasionally go, I've heard of you guys. Don't you have the scheduling software? It's like, no, we don't have the scheduling software.
Oh, and in Atlanta, we're not the lighting company.
And there's a humongous public lighting company. It was my old clients back when I was in public accounting. It used to be called a different name, but they rebranded to Acuity Lighting. And so, yes, they're not them either. And also, we're not the insurance company. Alex Miles just unfortunately got rear-ended yesterday. Is that right, Alex? In her car, and the person who hit her had Acuity Insurance. So,
well, that's who has the .com. Those jerks. So, Acuity Insurance is the one with the .com.
So whenever people send
me an email company or anything like that,
KK@acuity.com, it goes to that insurance company.
Yeah.
Drop the M at the end. .co. It actually gets to me. So. And Alex, we're glad you're okay, and I hope that insurance company.
She was parked, and like when she got hit, like she wasn't
okay. Still mentally, challenging. It just makes you feel all the feels. It's okay, Matthew. Okay.
What's the next one,
folks? Live folks, keep the questions coming. I just had oh my gosh, Miguel asked this. Can you role play a difficult client or employee conversation where Matthew is the difficult one? Jeez. Wait, Miguel. Hey, Miggy. This is called a daily conversation with Matthew. A difficult employee conversation. I mean, difficult partner conversation. This is like Matthew conversation every day. Okay, we have to role play a difficult. Which one? What do you want to do, Matthew? A client or an employee conversation?
Not client, because I'm dealing with too many client things right now.
Difficult employee conversation. Okay, here we go. I got one, and you're the difficult one.
I'm the difficult employee.
Actually, if you're difficult, does that mean you're one of us or you're the employee?
I don't know. Usually it's one of us.
It's one of us. Okay, so I'll be the employee. You'll be you'll be you, which is you're always the difficult one. Are you ready?
Sure.
Matthew, you were absolutely frightening. The thing you curse all the time. You're a scary person to talk to, and I have no idea usually what you're talking about.
I'm gonna skip 4 steps ahead of you to the resolution right now. And that's how that's gonna go. Okay, I don't think we can role play this. Maybe
that's how
that goes. Is that Matthew skips 4 steps ahead? Kenji has to back it down and walk it through, and then
people are scared of Matthew. That he doesn't make any sense. He's a million miles ahead of everybody else, and he confuses them, and that's what happens. That's how we go. Okay.
Funny story is Kenji would have to tell me, like when I agreed with somebody, he would say, you can't cut them off, you have to let them finish, because they've prepared to do this. And I'm like, well, if they keep talking, I might disagree with them later. Like, they need to take the win. So
I forgot about that.
That's how difficult I am. So awesome.
Okay, here's one I'm going to keep anonymous, but this was because someone's working through something here. A little more of a serious one. Okay, if you were part owner in a firm, but you didn't feel like your equity percentage represents your contribution to the firm, how would you handle it? How would you handle it with your other partners?
Ooh, the only way I ever change equity compensation is with cash, not effort. Like if you're off on effort, like you fucked up the structure to start with. Like you should have vested together, you should have done something. So whenever you're dealing with equity, and this is a real controversial thing for me, I think, because I don't believe in giving people equity. I only believe in people buying equity. Like after you've done the business deal, the only way to fix equity is with cash. The way you fix contribution after that is just salaries. Like if you feel like now I'm contributing more, you deal with it with salaries, and you can buy the person down. You can like sell whatever, whichever side of that you're on. You can either sell, buy down, whatever. But like if you're out of whack, I think it's a salary conversation.
So based on that comment, what I'm hearing is that you think that sweat equity is a complete farce. It's just BS. Is that right?
I think that if you're going to have sweat equity, you should set that up when you set up the company and the relationship, not like if you came to me and said that now, like we're out there, like we would have to done that when we started. Like we would have set up the sweat equity conversation when we started.
Okay. But in general, it sounds like I'm a little bit baiting you on this. In general,
I generally don't like the concept of sweat equity for an established firm.
Correct. I was kind of getting you there. I think we've talked about this. I know you and I are kind of in the same place on that. I think sweat equity can be dangerous, right? I get it. When you start, things can get a little bit dangerous. So, okay. Let's go. By the way, I have that same beer, Nicole's beer. I'm jumping into beer number 2. That's how fast. We'll go a little bit longer here.
Okay.
We'll go a few more questions.
Okay, cool.
But we're going to do that. Do you want to read one out of the live ones here, Matthew? While I pour my.
We don't have any ones live.
Yeah, we do.
Where?
I see it. Well, I see one from Dan.
Oh, okay. Matthew, can you tell Kenji how people like you and Byler cannot live without partners? I don't know.
Question, Dan.
How we can't live? I don't know how anybody can live without partners. First of all, because you and Kenji would be freaking lost without me and Byler. For the record, I know for a fact about Kenji because
what is he talking about?
He had a 10-person company for the first 8 years, and I think now it's 150 people. So now, but I couldn't have done that without him. So
that's fired.
It was a combo. So I'm just saying, dude.
Well, so let's think about it this way.
You guys can't do shit without us. Just for the record,
I want to imagine this, and this is Byler's over there smiling. Imagine.
Oh, Byler's on. Hey, man.
I'm going to propose this. Okay. If let's say the things were reversed here, and it was you and Byler, call it the Hot Tub Boys, had their own firm, and me and Dan, the Party Boys had a firm. Here's what would happen.
We would be the happiest, and you guys would implode the fastest.
No, you're wrong. That's you were close. Dan and I would have the most fun, and we'd be like probably dead. The firm would be dead in a month. I think you guys would be like, you guys would live on forever, but you'd be miserable.
We wouldn't be miserable.
I mean, not miserable, but like just it wouldn't be very fun.
I think we'd be happy. Maybe we should Byler, let's start a firm. Screw these guys.
You ready, Dan? Right here. This is what happens on a live Drink What You Think. Firms will start merging, partners break apart, new relationships. It's very fluid in this accounting profession, the things that end up happening. Okay, great, great question, Dan. Dan's, I love the chat. I wish the chat could be, we're going to find next time we do YouTube live, the chat will be shown in the video here. Few more here. Let's see. Matthew, will you play on the Tax Hack soccer team when next time you come to Austin, or will you ghost Miggy again?
Oh, I did not ghost Miggy. First of all, Miggy ghosted the whole X-Pack. So like that's just to clarify for the record. But yes, if I can walk, my wife said I have to be able to walk after I play the game. So that's currently I'm still in on the IR because I can't play a soccer game and not walk the next day, not be able to walk, or I have to not complain when I walk. Well, she has to also not recognize that I'm in pain. So
isn't that just better drugs? Isn't that just better drugs next time?
Whoa, yeah, we could get some better drugs than me. We can do that. We can figure this out.
Just saying, there's a lot of different ways to solve this.
Yeah, I'm open for creative ideas, Miggy.
Okay, Miggy's got another one. How do you guys feel about hiring Gen Zers as boomers? I guess he's saying opposed to Gen Zers as opposed to boomers.
Oh, we're pretty heavy on boomers.
I'm pretty boomer heavy.
We're pretty boomer heavy, but we're starting to see some Zers, so we're getting more knowledgeable about the Zers thing. I don't know. I think it's a different.
You know what's interesting is like I've always felt that actually the wants and needs of the Gen Zers, they are aplenty. The Gen Zers have many things they would like.
Oh, Z's however, after millennial. Zers after millennial. Zers is
I think so.
Tipton and Ivy, and it's Stam and Stella.
It's like we're going other ends of the spectrum here. I think was what Miggy's saying. What I actually find though is that Peter Wynn in the house too. Sorry, I'm seeing all these names. Is that I think that what I found is that even though we've been mostly we were probably skewed a little more to boomer and to Gen X.
We're not less so, more X. We're more skewed.
But I think the Gen Zers, and some of the time it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, these Gen Zers, the millennials, like they at least kind of speak up and give some ideas about like new ways to do things. And what's funny is the boomers are kind of grinders. They're like, this is the way things work. This is the way, I just do the same old thing over and over. But usually when we introduce like, well, we learned from, some of the Gen Xers or Gen Zers or whatever millennials. They're like, this kind of concept of remote work is kind of interesting. And this is 10 years ago. This is getting kind of pushed on us. And we kind of listened. And like, I remember we had some of our older staff were like, I want to come in the office. And then when they tried being at home for a bit, they were like, actually, this is kind of nice. So I love the blend of having a bit of the boomers and the Gen Zers. Actually, what's really cool, Miggy, is we've seen on some of our offsites, I think our offsites, some of our fun road shows, is to where when you blend the groups together, they actually blend much better than I would have ever thought. Like I always see, we have Graham who leads our CFO practice, and he's, Graham is definitely boomer and old school, and he's kind of done everything. And the younger Gen Zers like gravitate toward him, and he kind of gravitates toward them too. Like they all kind of hang together and have a great time.
We don't have any Z's on the offsites. We have Y's.
But you had to look it up, didn't you?
No, I'm guessing. Z's pretty much our Philippine crew.
Philippine crew, yeah. But I mean, they blend together better than I thought. But
the multi-generation, I think it goes a lot better than I think always.
It goes better than I thought it would happen. It would, right? There are certain things like last time we were at the offsite, like Graham's teaching all the young folks about like bourbon and what's the right kind of way to drink bourbon. Here's the right, it's just great and all that. And some of them are learning about the boomers are learning about social media and some of the ridiculous TikTok things you're doing. So yeah, there's some interesting crossovers there for sure.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
All right, final question, and then we'll wrap this up. Right. Oh, wait. Alex Miles has another one. Let's go to Alex. I love the live questions. Alex has had some good ones. Okay, Alex's next one is, in the spirit of conferences, what is your favorite part about attending in-person events? And what is your least favorite part? What value do you gain when leaving events? So like, okay, what's the best and worst about events? Like, what's the takeaway value there?
For sure, the the live events, when you're around the right people, are thought-provoking and challenging and energizing in a way that you can't replicate anywhere else. So QuickBooks Connect, which is the one that we just came up from, was an extraordinary event, right? For me, because I had these interactions with several people, but that was part of it because like Byler and crew were with me for 3 days before. But then even at QuickBooks Connect, the interactions I have with people were like, how do I stretch my thinking on SaaS topics? I was like with Roman, right? How do I stretch my thinking with FP&A products? And that was with Jody, right? So how do you keep stretching yourself? How do you improve yourself? So like conferences, I guess for me, are the place where it's the most clear, where you identify places that other people are still doing stuff better than you, and you remind yourself that, and then you mind that there's still places to grow. So that's the best part for me. Do you have a best part?
My best part?
Yeah.
For you to do your worst?
Oh, my worst part is that like I always feel freaking exhausted, and I don't have like sometimes I don't capture all my notes and like do some of that stuff, and I have conference voice and never fun for that stuff. It's all
Yeah,
physically.
I'll double down on the worst part is you come out of those things and you're pretty exhausted, pretty wiped out. And whether I've had people say like, "Oh my gosh, you seem to handle conferences so well." Yeah, for the most part, but I mean, I'm still pretty banged up coming out of conferences. I push
We're
it pretty
finally hearing
hard.
the
So yeah,
truth about Kenji here.
I mean, but I just the reentry into regular life is a little rough, and the impact it makes on family and things like that, I think is challenging. I don't particularly like that part of it. But I will say that like the best part, and I've had some moments to reflect on this year. There's lots of great parts, but it is all around the relationships. I said this as to where I think that the value, and this has changed, but this past year, the value of being on advisory councils, and there've been a bunch of them, going to conferences, there are a bunch of them, is that it's been a running calendar of reunions, of friendships, that I get a chance to kind of be with friends on a very, very regular basis. And I just don't know I just think of the way that the world works these days. I'm getting kind of, whatever, sappy about it, but you just don't get to see and connect with people as much as we used to. Man, this community and conferences and things like that, like provide a great opportunity to be with people who are legitimately dear, dear friends. And so I value that highly. And those friendships have produced for us are a lot of great things. We've had mergers come out of them. We've had new employees join us. We've probably in some ways had new business come out of it. So there's been some good business value out of it. But I mean, the relationship value is off the freaking charts. I mean, it's just off the charts going to these things. But you come home, it's wiped out. But I've said that I talk about this all the time. That's the kind of life I want to live. When I lay my head on the pillow at night, I want to be exhausted. I want to,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like, okay, I'm bored. Go to bed early. But the conferences create an environment that absolutely facilitates that kind of thing. So that's what I enjoy about it. I'll say the other thing, Alex, on the value. There's lots of value that I gain out of it. One of the values we realize is I try to do my best. We all do. I say all with Matthew and other team members ago, is to bring the experience of a conference back to our team, because I think it's the one thing that our team doesn't have the capacity, the ability, or sometimes the desire to be at a conference where we can kind of bring little bits and pieces back. And I think that's something that I've seen particularly this year is where our community is great. And if they know they're a part, sometimes people don't know they're a part of the community. That kind of community is awesome. And we get to experience all the time as speakers and things out there, but bringing that back and letting our team know like, hey, you're actually part of a really cool community that is supports one another, that has great technology partners out there. So I like bringing it back. That's probably the biggest value, is letting people know that there's a huge community out there that's incredibly supportive. So,
Cool, man.
All right. Last question, Matthew.
4.25.
This came in.
Oh, all right, your beer.
I'm now drinking that one. That's it. This came in. Who's the better accountant, Matthew or Kenji?
Oh, like technical accountant?
No, you just said accountant.
Like by a mile. Like I'm like a better accountant by a mile than you.
What are you talking about? Have you ever seen my accounting skills?
No.
No.
So anybody else?
That's not true.
Who has an active ZPA license? Like, who gives a crap about accounting still? Me.
Oh my gosh. Did you just tie? Wait a minute. Did you just tie accounting performance with the CPA, the AI CPA, the most dated? How old are you? Are you a boomer?
How many people? I do think that me keeping up my license versus you that like gave up 22 years ago or whatever it was.
No, I gave up like 5 years ago. I was like, this is stupid. This is not.
This is stupid. So yeah, I'm the better accountant. Yes.
No, I disagree.
You think you're a better accountant than me?
Like, listen, if it's technical accounting, if it's knowing SEC regs, GAAP, FASB pronouncements, yeah, you probably got me. You probably got me there. That was nice.
So it's technical accounting. That was what I just said, dude.
That you define it as technical.
Okay, how would you define it to where you were better than me then?
What if we did it as if we had to have, if you and this would be crazy. What if you and I had to go out on like our next CFO like engagement that came through, and we like, you get a choice, Kenji or Matthew. And we just did that like 10 times.
That's not right. That's not right.
What do you mean that's not right?
You would have to have a blind taste test because everybody's like, oh, everybody loves Kenji. That's bullshit.
Sometimes you want to.
Who wins the popularity contest of accountants? Kenji. Who is a better accountant? Matthew. Like, that's it. That's just like I'm just saying objectively.
Hey, Kelly Parks, remember when I used to like you? Sorry, I say that because Kelly just said Matt voted for Matthew all the way.
I think if we took a poll of the crew right here, we would be like, who is the better accountant objectively? Yeah. And they would be like, no. And then if we took a poll of like, who do you like better? Like, you would win all those.
You're probably right. Okay, fair enough. We'll leave it at that.
I am a better technical accountant. He is a better relationship accountant.
I guess. I mean, who knows? All right, let's rate our beers real quick. Follow us on Untappd as always. You can see all the beers we've consumed, which is a little bit dangerous, but Untappd. I'm going to give the Cosmic Crown that I'm drinking. I really like that. A Belgian strong ale at 9% ABV. I'm going to go. I'll go 4.25. 4.25 on that. That was nice. And then Matthew, we both get to rank this one since we both had a bit of it. I'm still drinking it. The Game Nights. If we can find the Game Nights.
There it is. Oh, no.
Oh, you smell it? Second.
There it is.
There it is. The Game Night IPA. Matthew, give me your. We'll do a blend here. What's yours first?
I did the 4.25 on that one. I kind of like the hazy.
Really?
It's a nice touch. So plus
I was gonna go 3.75.
Well, you can get it.
It's okay.
I would bump up.
We'll go 4. We'll put in the middle. 4 for both of us.
It was nice for Nicole to send us beers too, so I'm in that.
It was nice for her to send us beers. Better representations of hazies I found. It's not as. That's not. We didn't drink it as fresh as we probably could. This has been fun. We may try this again next time. We'll maybe have a little more planning in advance. I will say this.
Yeah, we could open this up. I could do this. This is fun. I like. Thank you for those of you guys that tuned in. I appreciate it.
I think the next one we'll do is maybe allow, if people want, our marketing team, which I called like 10 minutes before this thing started, said, here's what's happening. they were like, wait, are people trying to join and jump on? I said, no, I think it's just questions. So we were talking about letting people come on and ask their questions. We may do that through YouTube Live or Instagram Live. We'll maybe see about
Well, you
that in
can
the
do it
future.
you can do it in Zoom. You can bring
You can do
people
it in Zoom too. There's lots of ways to do that. We may open that up. But we are, as always, grateful for our friends out there and making even times when we're apart and not the conference like some of us will be this week, fun and enjoyable. But as always, Matthew and I try to be transparent, open about things we're doing at Acuity. But we love y'all. Keep the questions coming. And don't forget to like and subscribe, as they say. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.